What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Beast. Did you ever think about how insane explosions are? Like, we're talking big explosions here. The kind that changes history, you know? Well, today we're going to look at the top 20 most powerful bombs ever detonated. Get ready to have your minds blown. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into some of the most significant bomb detonations around the world. From historical events to modern-day explosions, we've got it all covered. Let's get started. Okay, so picture this. It's 1945, the world's in chaos. World War II is raging, and scientists are working on this top-secret project, right? They're calling it the Manhattan Project, and they're trying to build something never seen before, an atomic bomb. They finally finish it, this weapon with the power to level cities, and they decide to test it in the New Mexico desert. They call it the Trinity test. I'm talking about a 20-kiloton explosion, a blinding flash, a mushroom cloud 40,000 feet high. It was the dawn of the atomic age, and it changed everything. Just a few weeks after the Trinity test, the US dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. This wasn't a test anymore, this was war. The bomb, nicknamed Little Boy, detonated with the force of 15,000 tons of TNT. Imagine that, 15,000 tons of TNT. The city was instantly decimated, buildings were turned to rubble, and hundreds of thousands of people were killed or injured. It was a tragedy on an unimaginable scale. 3 days after Hiroshima, the US dropped another atomic bomb, this time on Nagasaki. Fat Man, as they called it, was even more powerful than Little Boy, packing a 21-kiloton punch. The devastation was just as horrific. Entire neighborhoods were wiped off the map, and the death toll soared. These bombings, as devastating as they were, ultimately led to the end of World War II. Alright, so the war is over, but the US wants to understand the power of these new weapons, right? So, they set up Operation Crossroads, a series of nuclear tests at Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. They were basically dropping nukes on ships to see what would happen. I'm talking battleships, aircraft carriers, the whole deal. The explosions were massive, sending shock waves across the ocean and creating gigantic water plumes. Now this is the big one, the granddaddy of them all. The Tsar Bomba, built by the Soviet Union, is the most powerful bomb ever detonated. We're talking 50 megatons, 50 million tons of TNT. That's insane. They tested this monster in 1961, and the explosion was visible from over 600 miles away. The mushroom cloud reached over 40 miles high, and the shock waves circled the Earth 3 times. It was a true testament to the destructive power humanity had unleashed. Not to be outdone, the US detonated its most powerful nuclear device, the Castle Bravo hydrogen bomb, in 1954. This thing was a beast, with a yield of 15 megatons, 3 times more powerful than they expected. The explosion vaporized islands, created a crater 2 kilometers wide, and spread radioactive fallout across a huge area. It was a sobering reminder of the immense power of these weapons. The race to build even more powerful bombs continued after World War II, and in 1952 the US successfully tested its first hydrogen bomb, codenamed Ivy Mike. This wasn't just a bigger atomic bomb, it was a whole new level of destruction. The Ivy Mike test released 10.4 megatons of energy, instantly vaporizing the island where it was detonated. The mushroom cloud reached an altitude of 57,000 feet, and the shockwave was felt hundreds of miles away. Not wanting to be left behind in the nuclear arms race, the United Kingdom conducted its own series of hydrogen bomb tests in 1957 and 1958. Operation Grapple took place in the Pacific Ocean, and the largest test, Grapple Y, yielded 3 megatons. These tests demonstrated the UK's ability to develop and detonate thermonuclear weapons, solidifying their place as a nuclear power. From 1957 to 1958, the US conducted a whopping 29 nuclear tests as part of Operation Plum Bob. These tests involved different types of nuclear devices, including smaller tactical weapons and larger strategic bombs. The goal was to gather data on the effects of nuclear explosions at various altitudes and in different environments. These tests contributed to the US's understanding of nuclear weapons and their potential applications. Chapter 10. Operation Hardtack, Pushing the Limits. In 1958, the US conducted Operation Hardtack, a series of 35 nuclear tests in the Pacific Ocean. These tests focused on developing new weapon designs and exploring the effects of high-altitude detonations. One notable test, Hardtack Teak, involved detonating a 3.8 megaton bomb at an altitude of 252,000 feet, creating a bright artificial aurora that was visible for hundreds of miles. Chapter 11. Operation Dominic, a show of force. In 1962, tensions between the US and the Soviet Union were running high during the Cold War. In response to Soviet nuclear tests, the US launched Operation Dominic, a massive series of over 100 nuclear tests in the Pacific Ocean. These tests included atmospheric detonations, high-altitude explosions, and underwater tests. Operation Dominic was a clear demonstration of US nuclear capabilities during a tense period in history. Chapter 12. Operation Fishbowl, Nukes in Space. Okay, get this. In 1962, the US decided to test nuclear weapons in space. Operation Fishbowl involved launching nuclear missiles into the atmosphere to study the effects of high-altitude detonations on communications and radar systems. These tests created spectacular artificial auroras and provided valuable data on the behavior of nuclear explosions in space. It was like something straight out of a science fiction movie. Chapter 13. As concerns about radioactive fallout grew, the US began conducting more underground nuclear tests. Operation Storax, conducted from 1962 to 1963, involved a series of underground detonations at the Nevada test site. These tests allowed scientists to study the effects of nuclear explosions in a more controlled environment and to develop methods for detecting underground nuclear tests. Chapter 14. Operation Grommet, conducted in 1962 and 1963, continued the US's underground nuclear testing program. These tests involved detonating nuclear devices in various geological formations to study the containment of underground explosions and the effects of different types of rock on seismic signals. The data gathered from Operation Grommet contributed to the development of more effective methods for detecting and identifying underground nuclear tests. Chapter 15. Operation Anvil, conducted in 1962, marked a transition in US nuclear testing practices. This series of tests focused on developing and refining safety procedures for underground nuclear detonations. The lessons learned from Operation Anvil helped to improve the safety and containment of future underground nuclear tests, minimizing the release of radioactive materials into the environment. Chapter 16. Operation Flintlock, Advancing Nuclear Weapon Technology. Operation Flintlock, conducted in 1965 and 1966, involved a series of underground nuclear tests at the Nevada test site. These tests focused on developing new nuclear weapon designs and improving the efficiency and yield of existing weapons. The data gathered from Operation Flintlock contributed to the United States' ongoing efforts to maintain a credible nuclear deterrent during the Cold War. Chapter 17. Operation Whetstone, Fine-Tuning the Arsenal. Operation Whetstone, conducted in 1968 and 1969, continued the United States' efforts to refine its nuclear arsenal. These tests involved detonating nuclear devices in various configurations to study their performance and to assess the reliability of different weapon components. The data gathered from Operation Whetstone contributed to the development of safer, more reliable, and more effective nuclear weapons. Chapter 18. Operation Bowline, conducted in 1970 and 1971, demonstrated the US's commitment to maintaining a technological edge in the nuclear arms race. These tests involved detonating nuclear devices with advanced features and exploring new concepts in nuclear weapon design. The data gathered from Operation Bowline contributed to the US's ability to deter potential adversaries and to maintain a credible nuclear deterrent. Chapter 19. Operation Mandrel, conducted in 1971 and 1972, involved a series of underground nuclear tests at the Nevada test site. These tests focused on studying the behavior of nuclear explosions in different geological media and on improving the methods for detecting and identifying underground nuclear tests. The data gathered from Operation Mandrel contributed to the US's understanding of nuclear weapons effects and to the development of more effective verification techniques. Chapter 20. Operation Grenadier, conducted in 1973 and 1974, marked the end of an era in US nuclear testing. These tests, conducted at the Nevada test site, focused on developing and testing nuclear devices for peaceful purposes, such as natural gas extraction and scientific research. Operation Grenadier represented a shift in focus from nuclear weapons development to the exploration of peaceful applications of nuclear technology. Whoa, that was a wild ride through history, right? We've seen the incredible destructive power of nuclear weapons and the impact these detonations have had on the world. It's a sobering reminder of the responsibility we have to use this technology wisely and to strive for a more peaceful future. Thanks for sticking with me through this explosive journey. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing content, and let me know in the comments what other crazy stuff you want me to explore. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.